Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. Well, I still don't have the Tremors TV series, but hey, maybe after 5 weeks of doing graboids, we're ready to move on to something new, right? No? Well, fuck it, we're going back to Starship Troopers, okay? You likely remember I already covered this series earlier this year. The first was an instant classic. The second was fucked. And the third was... Okay, that doesn't matter. The point is, after I finished this 3 Starship Troopers movies, I did Traveler's Dimension Police with Creepy when we were doing this series of crossovers of movies from Japan every month. Unbeknownst to me at the time, there was actually a Starship Troopers 4 already, and it was made in Japan. Directed by Shinji Yaramaki, Starship Troopers Invasion is a computer-animated entry into the series. We followed the continued adventures of Carmen, Rico, and Jenkins as a radical series of events transpires across space. This results in many skirmishes with the arachnids and the very real threat of a full-on invasion. Not much of a spoiler considering what the damn movie is called in the first place, but anyway, let's take a look at Starship Troopers Invasion and see if it really lives up to the title of the best sequel in the whole series. Or... oh fuck, there is no way it could possibly be worse than 2. The film opens up with a new and improved Crisis 4 nanosuit, now with inflatable muscles, showing off his badassitude as he prepares for our combat drop. Thing is, this is foreshadowing because we immediately jump 2 days earlier to something totally different. Another group of badass super soldiers in the mobile infantry engaging in a combat drop.
Our mission is to seize and control the B-Duck area, clear away the bugs, and evac the survivors.
There's also a side quest down one of the hallways where you can rescue a lost dog. It's a suicide mission, but you get the puppy love achievement.
After the rescue, we return to the ship, take off, then we blow the fort and the bugs.
Well, at least that makes the plot very easy to translate into a porn parody. This is the head of Alpha Squad, Dougherty, played by Sam Roman. I would think the number would note their identity, except for the fact that they all have the exact same number, A1. Maybe they just really love steak sauce. Anyhow, the dropship comes in and they power slide into attack position. And the CGI is, adequate? I mean, I've certainly seen worse, but the reused texture on all the soldiers and the janky animation and the absolutely featureless setting, I feel like it's 2005 all over again and someone's trying to convince me that this is real-time gameplay footage. Nevertheless, they establish the existence of sci-fi future explosive charges and move in to clear the area, but things aren't exactly what they seem. While this is going on, a high-ranking psychic is loading up some equipment and commandeering a ship.
What the hell is this about, Carl?
Wonderful to see you again, Carmen.
Carmen Ibanez and Carl Jenkins, who not only are not played by their established actors, they don't even remotely look like the characters used to. Carmen is played by Lucy Christian, while Justin Doran voices Jenkins. Turns out the ship he's taking over is hers, and it's one of those extra super secret missions, so she's not allowed to know why. In fact, she's not even allowed to stay on her own ship. We do get a little more information when A-Team meets up with what's left of K-Team.
This was a suicide mission from the get-go, fucking head case.
Shut your mouth, rat's ass. You want to be busted like Hero?
The big obvious hero in this movie is called Hero. And that wasn't an insult earlier. The other guy's call sign really is rat's ass. I'm starting to wonder what the other team's coordinating sounds like. Douchebag, cover left, fifth wheel, follow, useless expendable fodder, take point. Although he can't say what it is he knows, evidently Hero here, played by David Wald, didn't like what Jenkins was doing, and fought against the man. This obviously has led to his incarceration. Thanks, movie, because if there's one lesson you can bring home from Hero of the Federation, it's that nothing says Starship Troopers movie like anti-authoritarianism. The other problem is that the ship Jenkins is taking just so happens to be the same one that A-Team was going to escort after bringing K-Team back to the Alicia. But they just started flying away before anyone else got back.
If there are new orders, let me know, goddammit! Are we gonna escort the John A. Warden or not?
Not is looking considerably more likely. As the arachnids swarm in, they kinda sorta take the lander. This means the team must retreat back to the Alicia, which is fortunately docked at another point in the station. Unfortunately, the pathway is also covered in bugs. Nevertheless, this is the perfect chance to introduce the sniper, Trig, played by Emily Neves.
424. 425.
The character traits are introduced hard, fast, and reminiscent of anime. Army of monsters coming to kill us? Just a second, I have to establish my backstory so I can brood while kicking ass. But her killing bug after bug to show off isn't helping much considering the absolute ass-ton of arachnids heading their way, so she must run. Don't worry about her. Just like any modern game, time slows down to make sure she doesn't fuck this up.
Thanks.
Anytime.
But, sir, should we be taking our helmets off before the airlock is pressurized?
We'll be fine.
With that, A-Team and K-Team escape to the Alacia, while the now infested station on Fort Casey is blown to shit. This gives us the time to slow down and get to see the characters interacting, taking in what just happened.
We saved some lives. And we killed some bugs. But we lost some good troopers today.
Yeah! After our job well done, the plan is to head back to Terra for some shore leave. Not to say we can't start oogling the naked ladies while still on the ship.
You, want me to show you to the shower? I could wash her back.
You don't want to wash my front?
Yeah, I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure those are fake. But seriously, the movie slows down a ton at this point, with a slow, talky scene establishing yet again that Jenkins commandeered the Warden is Carmen's ship, and the reasons are top secret so she can't know why. Also, Hero is still in the brig for trying to be a hero. We also get banter between the medic and one of the injured infantrymen.
Let's do this. Why don't we wait until the shaking stops?
The ship will be fine.
I'm not talking about the ship.
Don't you get it? I'm not just a doctor. I'm a character too. Why won't you let me establish my unique and interesting quirks? Considering this is an action movie, the gods of film offer up an exhibition match to help the pacing. This is done via some sparring between Ratsass, played by Leraldo Anzaluda, and Chow, played by Josh Grell. The smaller, faster fighter has a clear advantage, up until this, anyway.
What a woman.
It's not the strangest source of inner strength out there. Have you seen Panty Man? Continuing on, establishing more and more character traits and backstories and relationships and shit, Bug Spray, played by Andrew Love, runs into Trig again, and they get to talking about her rifle, seeing as it is not standard issue. But all this talking can wait, as we got some Federation-approved pickup lines to try out.
Would you like to know more?
She wants the D-tails. But we cut away from sexy time to establish Hero is still in the brig, and would you look at that, his name spells out He Thumb Row. Also, the amputation and cybernetic prosthetics were successful. Oh, and now that the sex is over, I guess it's time to mention that Trig's family was horrifyingly melted to death by bug plasma, as well as her entire hometown and everything in a 50-mile radius.
I swore then that I'd kill just as many bugs. And I'd do it with that gun.
Well, if it makes you feel better, you sure as fuck killed the mood. After we establish that Carmen does in fact take showers, we cut to a message from Big Boss himself, Johnny Rico, played by David Mantranga. Turns out they can't take a break just yet, as a new crisis has emerged.
The John A. Warden has gone silent. The Elysia is the only starship in the area of last contact.
We're just trying to figure out, did the Elysia say something to hurt Warden's feelings, or what? Well, what happened? Point is, no vacation time, they must go and investigate. Ratsass takes the opportunity to say they will, but only if Rico grants Hero parole to lead the unit. Thus, in no time at all, they find the Warden, and Hero agrees to lead the charge. That doesn't mean we can't spend more time establishing characters, such as Melissa Davis as Ice Blonde, Caleb Martinez as Resident Deist Holy Man, and Chris Patton as Charon, the opinionated asshole.
I find that believers such as you say so few things worth writing down.
Well, looks to me like he's got plenty written down already. The Warden doesn't answer any of their hails, so they simply latch onto the ship and prepare to board. This is made a little more interesting with the fact that pretty much all of the ship's systems are out, including artificial gravity. Fortunately, they brought Carmen along to re-engage the ship's systems. I mean, they didn't bother giving her any of those nice armored suits or huge fucking weapons, but she's got an air helmet, so that's good enough. It's better than anyone else on the bridge is doing. Most of them don't have their insides in the right place anymore.
My crew.
I really should have learned their names. Ah well, no time to mourn. Carmen's here, so first things first. Pull in emergency power from the Elysia and turn the gravity back on. If only it took longer. It could have been the best use of drowning pool in cinema history. Oh well.
Internal oxygen level is green.
There's nothing quite like the smell of freshly killed crew members. As they try to get the ship to power up on its own again, Hero and company find the only survivor, Carl Jenkins, hiding in a cell and completely out of his mind.
I hacked her, so she hacked me.
She? What do you mean, she?
What the hell does he mean, hacked me? She is pretty straightforward. It means female, hero.
Open the door, Jenkins.
And let you kill me? No! Besides, it's safer in here. Safest place on the ship. My safe place, yes. Safe place. My safe house.
Okay, you can stay in there with your coloring books and videos of frolicking puppies.
Darkness. Darkness is your friend. Whatever you do, don't turn on the lights.
How long until they turn on the lights?
Yes!
Good job, Chow.
Yeah, maybe the psychic's all crazy and paranoid. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Massive army of arachnids pouring in from all sides. I gotta admit, that is pretty bad. This means all the troops from all corners of the ship must retreat at once, or at the very least those who haven't been ripped in half, impaled, or otherwise brutally killed in the time it took them to realize what the fuck is going on. Fortunately, the Elysia is still docked, so escape should be quick and easy. Except the bugs control the ship. Like, every system. Which makes me wonder why they don't just cut the oxygen. They obviously don't need it. I mean, yeah, the mobile infantry have their little air tanks, but, I mean, how good can they be if the cadavers smell better? With this new problem, they retreat to the bridge of the Warden. Here we find they can't establish communications with the L6 base, cause wormholes fuck with space data. Yes, no, they do. Also, Hero drops the bomb on the rest of the team that Jenkins is alive, well, and out of his damn mind. Considering it doesn't look like he'll be reprimanded anytime soon, he also reveals the dark secret of what got him arrested in the first place.
Jenkins found a queen on Fort Casey. He ordered us to capture it alive.
Yes, a queen. They have those now. Knowing that trying to capture the queen would mean the death of most of his men, Hero refused to follow the order, which Jenkins should have seen coming, all things considered, but that's neither here nor there. Hero was arrested, the queen captured, and now she somehow has control of the ship. Like, directly, as the engines suddenly kick in and they start flying off.
We're moving.
Where?
No idea. But if the queen is in control,
We need to stop her from getting there.
how?
The only way I know how. We're going to start a change.org petition. No time for it to go viral, as it turns out her destination is very close by. The wormhole.
It'll take her straight to Earth.
Well, that explains why the movie's called Invasion. As there's little that can be done to warn the L6 base, Trig decides to strip down and take to the vent so she can kill the queen herself.
I'll back you up.
No. You stay. Besides, you'll never be able to fit through here.
I fit just fine before. I meant the vent shaft. Oh. Carmen's plan is to hack the hacker's hack, getting control of the ship from the bug queen, and steer it away from the wormhole.
She's onto us.
It's a giant super psychic killer brain bug. I'm surprised it hasn't sent arachnids to kill you yet. Okay then, but it's starting to make me wonder why it's so bad at this. All it needed you to do was turn the lights on. Waiting for you to board the other ship before blowing it up would have been far more efficient. But combat breaks out right as the Warden enters the wormhole. This somehow means time stops. Because... poetic license? The point is they pass through, time begins to move again, and Big Boss is shocked to discover that the Warden has just warped in near the base orbiting the Earth.
Sir, if they keep their current trajectory, the Johnny Warden... Sir, it's heading straight for us.
You would think a super psychic queen brain bug would know a thing or two about subtlety. While their communications equipment is down, that doesn't mean they can't use a little ingenuity to send a message via Morse gunfire.
Repeat, bugs in control. How the hell do bugs control a starship?
Ask the guys who made Starship Troopers Battle Space. Never saw a bug in that game that wasn't piloting a starship. Rico sends 3 ships to take the Warden down, but they don't even nick the hull before the John A. Warden blasts the ever-loving fuck out of them. At this point, they ram right into L6's little antenna and just leave them behind.
It's heading straight for the Earth.
They never meant to ram us. We were just in their way.
Oh, well, that's lovely. I'm sure you can get together later and just laugh about this little misunderstanding after they're done ravaging all life on Earth. On the ship, what remains of A-Team and K-Team decide that now that we're in the midst of the climax, they must rush down every corridor, killing every bug in their way, until they may reach the engine room and take out the Queen. Carmen, on the other hand, must stay behind on the bridge to attempt to regain control of the ship, currently set to smash into Paris. If only they could distract the Queen somehow. $50 BMG to the temple. That'll do it. But this is the last boss, so you know you can't win until you hit it at least 3 times. Therefore, swarms of bugs prevent Drake from getting in another shot, and Carmen just barely keeping the ship from smashing into Paris doesn't matter too much, as mere seconds later the Queen regains control. However, it just so happens this was all the time Carmen needed to aim the ship somewhere desolate and a bajillion miles wide, and it's huge and like nowhere on Earth, but it's right over there. Unless I've been misinformed and Paris is in fact on LV-426, I have no idea how the fuck they got over there. After the crash, everything is silent. Especially so as the one man who stayed behind to guard Carmen is dead, killed by a paralysis spell in an Elder Scrolls game. No bother, she has a mission and she intends to carry it out. With her tiny-ass sidearm. Just pointing this out there. Dougherty wasn't going to be needing that rifle anymore. Now that the bugs have touched down on Earth and the shit has completely demolished the fan, we can cut back to the opening where we see that in fact it was Rico preparing to drop down into combat, loading up into the Marauder armor to kick ass and save Carmen.
Don't wait for me. If I'm not out in 30, nuke it.
Yeah, it's not like this is an important planet or anything. No worries about fucking up the atmosphere at all. After a rousing speech about kicking bug ass, Rico and his team drop down, but not without issue.
Live forever?
Rico! Jeez, I know it's nostalgic, but you gotta time these things. What the fuck is wrong with you? What, do you run around screaming that at people's funerals? As Rico and company try desperately to master the art of point A to point B, Bug Spray finds something terrible has befallen his love.
Drake. No.
Drake! Drake!
Oh god. It's like you told me all that shit about your backstory just to make this all the more painful. On top of that, Bug Spray gets jumped, wounding him, and leading to the man sacrificing himself so that Hero can get to the Queen.
441. 442. 443. 444.
Bug Spray, how the hell did you know what number to start from? Thing is, as much as Hero tries, this game wasn't balanced with single player in mind.
This is what I've been working on.
But in a twist, he is saved at the last second by the secret project with Jenkins. That we just found out what in the fuck it was. And up until now, there was not even the slightest hint. He just arrives with allied bugs. Yep. Upon reaching the Queen, it seems that she has some of the same powers of the God Bug from Starship Troopers 3, as a handy cadaver is used as a translation device, so they may barter. The Queen requests Jenkins be handed over, and Hero will be allowed to live.
They fear me.
Maybe they just think you're an asshole.
Or they could be madly in love with him. Who's to say? Thus, Hero refuses to turn him over. However, as the Queen's guards take out Jenkins' toys rather quickly and he loses all reason for being there, Hero covers his retreat, where he runs right into Rico, the only one on the drop team to actually survive the drop in his Marauder suit, now equipped with motherfucking chainsaw hands! I swear, half of the mobile infantry's training goes into them learning how to make one hell of an entrance. The problem now is that their evac is, well, fucked. That means they are stranded with nothing to do but eat the nukes. Except that doesn't go to plan either.
They took out the nuke.
So, good or bad? I mean, yeah, bugs live, but you live, and Paris lives. It's just the explosions of the nukes in the sky. And the fallout is going to rain down on Paris now. So, I'll stop. Wouldn't you know it, though, Mech had set up some explosives on the ship so they don't need the nukes anyway. However, there is still a small chance for them to all escape with their lives, so Rico rushes back into the Queen's chamber just in time to see, surprise, surprise, the hero dies. Oh well, now it's just him and Queen Bitch. It's not going where I think it's going. Is it? You had me scared for a minute there, Shinji. Thus, with one stab to the head, Rico defeats the Queen. How the fuck that actually managed to do anything when a 50 BMG just pissed her off earlier, I don't know, but glowing weak point, how about that? Besides, she doesn't die, which makes me wonder why he had to stab her at all, but the point is they all managed to rush to the handy-dandy escape pod and fly out of there. Just barely out of lethal range of the blast, though it still fucks with their flight. There's the one shot of the movie where I think that the CGI actually looks decent. Never mind all that. Happy ending! Rico, Carmen, and Jenkins are alive, as well as Ice Blonde, Mech, and Rat's Ass, and they all remember to honor Hero's sacrifice to prevent the bugs from infesting the Earth. Well, so much for that. Anyway, that was Starship Troopers Invasion, and it's better than the last two sequels, though it's not really perfect. Honestly, it felt like an anime. I mean, in terms of pacing, character handling, and the like, Starship Troopers Invasion is done very much in the style of Japanese cinema, and in that sense it feels a bit odd with the CGI coat of paint. In my opinion, it isn't particularly good CGI. Not the worst, by far, but remember, this movie's from 2012. Considering that CGI bugs in the first movie kick the shit out of anything this film has to offer visually, that speaks to how underwhelming the visuals are. Also, with the handling of the characters and pacing, I sort of feel like the movie should have just been hand-drawn. Yeah, that would have been an absolute nightmare when it comes to the swarms of arachnids, but maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. On the plot, things happen and flow reasonably enough, but there's a tendency for this movie to just pull a surprise out of the side and explaining everything when there was hardly any time to question it. The secret project to create bugs that follow orders of the Terran Federation? That sounds pretty kick-ass, but we never hear a thing about it, even after they get onto the ghost ship and start poking around. There's nothing that comes up to even hint what the hell was going on. Just suddenly at the end, boom, Federation bugs. Then they die. Feels like a terribly wasted opportunity to me. Overall, Starship Troopers Invasion is a fun enough movie, but I would recommend it more to fans of anime as it slows down a lot during the middle and can be so secretive with its main plot, those used to more Western movies may feel out of place. It's still enjoyable in its own right, despite various problems, coming in at 3 motherfucking chainsaw hands out of 5. Feels good to finally finish the Starship Troopers series. There were a bunch of other series that I never did finish. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Dr. Shado, and remember, don't tell your new boyfriend about the dark backstory of your rifle. Just shoot bugs. You'll have a far better chance of surviving.
Hey, Carmen, when this thing is over, maybe you and I can meet at Zim's and